So the big picture for this lesson is coterminal angles and also radian measure. So here's an angle drawn in a coordinate grid, and this is called standard position. One side of the angle, or one ray, is aligned with the x-axis, and the other ray is off somewhere, like it is. The measure of this angle is like this. Let's say this is 160 degrees, for example. Well, there's an angle that's coterminal that ends in the same place and starts in the same place. So for example, what if I went this way instead? That would make an angle measure that is 200 degrees. These are coterminal because they start and end in the same place. And you can also do multiple revolutions, like I could do 160 degrees and then all the way around, so plus another 360, and get another coterminal that way. So those are coterminal angles. Now what about radian measure? Radians are a different unit of measure for angles than degrees. So a complete circle is 360 degrees. It is also defined as 2 pi radians, or you could say degrees equals pi radians. And so what you can do is you can divide up a circle in terms of radians instead of degrees. So why use radians instead of degrees if they both do the same thing? Well, when you go higher level in math, radians are actually easier to work with when you do more advanced mathematics. So for our purposes, degrees and radians are interchangeable. And there's no real advantage to one or the other when you're just measuring angles. However, when we get into doing different functions, radians actually work a lot more easily than degrees. So this is a foundation for working with functions a little bit later. So how do you convert? Use proportions. So I know it's 180 degrees to pi radians. That's an equal ratio. So let's say I have 200 degrees and x radians. I'm converting 200 degrees to radians. All you do is cross multiply and then solve for x. It's a simple proportion. And your radians are going to be in terms of pi. So just to show you how that works out, 180 times x equals 200 pi, and then divide by 180 to solve for x. X equals 200 divided by 180, or 20 divided by 18 pi. X is also, when you simplify by 2, 10/9 pi. So that is 200 degrees in terms of radians. So that's coterminal angles and radians. That's the big picture.